Good evening and thank you for joining us on CoreTv News on the hour. I am Ebulomo Adekunle. Nigeria's military has announced that Goza has been retaken from Boko Haram insurgents. Defense headquarters said through its Twitter feed that troops took the city on Friday morning. It also noted that the headquarters of the self-styled Islamic Caliphate was also destroyed during the air and land assault. The military disclosed that several insurgents were killed during the operation, while mapping up operations are ongoing to clear the community. The city was captured few hours after President Goodluck Jonathan assured Nigerians that it would be freed on Friday. Ahead tomorrow's presidential election, the incumbent president and the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Goodluck Jonathan, People's Democratic Party, Goodluck Jonathan, has arrived in Bayelsa. And Jonathan, who alighted from a helicopter that conveyed him and his wife to Yenigua, the state capital, left for his village in Otoke after acknowledging cheers from the crowd that welcomed him to the state. President Goodluck Jonathan has warned individuals or groups bent on fomenting trouble before, during and after Saturday's presidential election to have a rethink. This, according to him, is because security operatives are prepared to ensure adequate security of lives and property across the country. President Jonathan said in a nationwide broadcast aired on radio and television stations that persons who are involved in disorderly conduct would be dealt with in line with the laws of the land. He also urged Nigerians to go out peacefully and elect the leaders of their choice during the election, having in mind that the eyes of the world are on the country. The police in Kano have arrested over 200 suspected political thugs in the run-up to Saturday's presidential election. Commissioner of Police Ibrahim Idris disclosed these at the command's headquarters at a joint security briefing ahead of the election. He also solicited the cooperation of all residents of the state for a hitch-free process.
And we are going to adequately cover the election. But numbers, we don't give numbers for security reasons. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Level of preparedness. You can see the enthusiasm shown by the men. You know, everybody seems to measure up to the challenge. And we have virtually finished all deployments on paper. We are going to start effecting the movement now from this field.
Sir, apart from what you just told them now, was there given to this officer?
Obviously, for the past 3 months, you know, the police have been conducting, and other security agencies have been conducting training. Equally, INEC themselves, for the past almost 3 months, they've been conducting training for their staffs. So I think every one of them you see is adequately trained to handle this. And you know, there is this pamphlet that the police distributed for all the police officers. We have made them available to all the DPOs. They are going to distribute to them tomorrow. And that's this with the code of conduct of election. So with all the trainings, with all this guidance we gave them, I'm definitely sure that they are properly prepared to handle this election.
So how do you assess the behavior of political parties?
I would say that compared to other states, I think we are faring well here. We've not had any major political, We've been having these minor skirmishes here and there. We've arrested over almost 200 suspects in the last 1 week, and also all of them are charged to court. And of course, you are aware that we've been conducting raids. You've been seeing our men. We've been conducting joint raids. All the security agencies moving to areas where we believe are flashpoints, and we're conducting joint raids for the last 3 months. And that's a continuous exercise. We're going to continue doing that until the day of the election.
Logistics has always been
We have our resources, and because of this reinforcement we've got, we've hired at least 100 buses. You see them over there. These are the buses that we are going to be using with the vehicles available to all the agencies. Like I said, we are just mopping up all our resources to ensure that our men are delivered to all the local government areas, and from there they are going to be delivered to all the polling units timely to ensure that they provide the necessary security for the elections.
So how many security men?
Statistics. But like I'm telling you, we have amassed all the resources available in all the security agencies, whether military, paramilitary, and police, to cover this election.
Thank you.
The police have announced the redeployment of a number of senior officers ahead of the 2015 elections. A police statement issued in Abuja showed that Deputy Inspector General Danzumi Doma is to coordinate the Southeast Zone. Maman Safi has been handed the responsibility of coordinating operations in the South-South, while DIG Hashimu Argungu is to oversee the Southwest Zone. DIG Christopher Katso is to coordinate the Northwest, Hilary Okpara Northeast, and Adiola Adeniji North Central. 3 Assistant Inspector Generals were also named assistant coordinators. They are Kalafite Adeyemi, Southwest, Bala Nasarawa for North Central Zone, and Adisa Balanta, Northwest. AIG Usman Gwari is now in charge of Federal Operations Abuja, while AIG Mark Iduako takes over charge of Zone 9 in Umahia. Also, 5 commissioners of police have been transferred to new commands for the period of the elections. Those affected are Usia Karma, and who moves to River State, Adamu Muhammad, Anambra State, and Dambature is to hold the fort in Enugu State. Others are Usman Abdullahi, Katsina State, Jimo Oziobe, Benue State, and Hyacinth Dagala, CP in charge of operations at the force headquarters in Abuja. The police authorities have published a list of 15 offences they are prepared to clamp down on. Police spokesman Emmanuel Ojukwu said in a statement issued in Abuja that security operatives would not tolerate anyone casting votes twice, announcing false election results, or revealing the information on the ballot paper of another voter. Also on the list of offences identified by police is disorderly behavior, canvassing for votes, and chanting party slogan at polling units. The police frowned on the use of sirens, snatching or destroying ballot boxes or card readers, holding public meetings during election day, wearing or carrying badge or poster of a political party, or inflicting or threatening to inflict injury on any person or persons at the polling unit. Loitering or walking about in a polling unit is also prohibited according to the police authorities. Lagos State Commissioner of Police Kayode Aderanti says there will be a 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. lockdown in the state on Election Day, March 28th. Addressing men of the press, it says the police is non-partisan and is prepared to ensure that the polls are peaceful and violence-free. Patience Ajiboye brought back this report.
It was a meeting of security operatives and INEC officials with men of the press in Lagos. Lagos State Commissioner of Police Kayode Aderanti says members of the society should work hand in hand with the police and other security forces to ensure smooth polls.
We have established a joint operations and control room. We encourage Lagosians to report incidences requiring our attention through the following dedicated lines: domicile at the upstream.
He also stated that 36,204 security operatives have been deployed to the state and other logistics have been put on ground for the polls.
We have embarked on show of force on land, sea, and air to demonstrate our readiness to confront and contain any irritation that may arise from anywhere.
Lagos Resident Electoral Commissioner Akin Orebiyi says voters can take shots of the voting process and stay around after voting, but it should be done peacefully.
But there's also nothing that says you cannot stay behind if you wish. But the only provision is that you must comport and conduct yourself in an orderly manner, in a way that you do not interfere with the proceedings of election on that day.
Aderanti also wants that no one should parade polling booths to do campaigns in whatever form on that day, and cautions that INEC alone has the lawful power to announce results, making it known that anyone who trespasses will be made to face the law squarely. Patience Ajiboye, CoreTv News, Lagos.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has denied suggestions of a plot to rig the 2015 general elections in favor of the All Progressives Congress. Chief Press Secretary to INEC Chairman Kayode Idowu describes the allegation contained in an advertorial as false and baseless. He said in a statement that the Commission chairman has statutory powers to set up an in-house team to assist in collation of election results. Idowu noted that the members of the committee are non-partisan technocrats and are on oath to be neutral in discharging their official duties. INEC also reassures Nigerians of its commitment to a free, fair and credible election. He said in a statement that the chairman would make sure that everything goes on smoothly. It's the CoreTv News in the hour. Take a short break and we'll be back with more reports.
Morning, Mr. President. Morning, sir.
How are you, Mr. President?
How are you, sir?
How you get your
campaign?
We must learn to live together as brothers, or perish together as fools. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Thank you for being there with us, and for more news and other information, you can visit our social media platforms. On Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTv News. Our Twitter handle @CoreTv News NG. And on YouTube, youtube.com/CoreTv News. Against the anticipation of possible hiccups on the day of election in Oyo State, security experts, INEC officials and the ruling government have assured residents of a seamless electoral process that will be free of rigging and violence. And on the part of residents in the state, politicians should quit seeing election as a do-or-die affair and learn to see the general good of all as all that really matters. Omotayalo has more.
Just a matter of hours, the first leg of the 2015 electoral process will kick off in Oyo State, and what seemed to be most paramount to Oyo residents is security of lives and property before, during and after the election.
The election should be free and fair.
We pray that God will take control and give us a good environment, peaceful election.
I didn't pray for fight on Saturday.
The security operatives in the state have promised not to leave anything to chance, as their men are more than ready to guarantee the safety of people as they exercise their civic rights.
Anybody that goes to polling booths will cast his votes or have vote freely without any molestation, because the police is there to secure the life of electoral officers, the life of the electorates, the materials, and ensure that there is no breach of peace in the polling booth.
We will spare nobody who, by his conduct, is interpreted to be breakdown of law and order.
Oyo State Governor Abiola Ajimobi stressed the sustenance of peace and tranquility as far more important, and security agents would have all the support they require.
The progress we have recorded today in Oyo State is largely due to the support of the police. So we'd like to thank them, and we'd like to use this opportunity to reassure you and all the members of the force that will continue to support them.
On the part of the State Electoral Commissioner, Rufus Akeju, residents should keep away from fomenting trouble as a promise to conduct a free and fair election.
More than prepared for the election. Before the election, we are very, very, very ready for it. We are ready to roll.
In relation to the fear and tension already built in the heart of residents who will foresee in the worst of the election, these residents advise that there should be no cause for alarm.
For this election 2015 on Saturday, everybody must have to be very vigilant and be careful.
Some people, they are traveling home, so running about. Some people will die off on the road. Because of what? Nothing is pushing people. So I'm advising people to stay where they are. We are the same Nigeria. We are Nigerians. I see. That's the only thing I will say on that.
After a series of meetings, sensitizations and assurance in the build-up to the 2015 election, the continuation of life even after election results remains a subject of interest to all concerned stakeholders in the state who have chosen peace above all else. Omotayo Alo, CoreTv News, Ibadan.
In the aftermath of previous post-election violence that has happened in Nigeria, such as in 1965, 1978, 1983, 1993 and 2011, a foremost journalist and Ibadan High Chief Lekan Alabi emphasized that no candidate is worth dying for and wants the people of Oyo to keep away from the path of violence and make the permanent voter cards a mouthpiece to decide where their heart really lies. Alabi also urged the electorate to vote wisely and make their actions at the polls a day-to destiny for themselves and the generation yet unborn.
You must go and vote so that the minority will not think they are the majority. In addition, by going to vote, you will let the world know where you stand. Do not let apathy or unhappiness allow some people to reap where they have not sown. So please go out to vote and quietly too. There should be no violence.
Less than 24 hours to the much-awaited general elections, the resident electoral commissioner for Plateau State, Godwin Kwanga, sheds more light on how the card readers work and what can be done if any failed card reader is not replaced before accreditation ends on the day of election. Our correspondent Richard King has the details.
Although the fears of many residents in Plateau State is that the card reader may fail to work, which they say is like denying some their voting rights, the resident electoral commissioner, Godwin Kwanga, calms the fear, stating that any card reader that malfunctions, if not replaced immediately, will lead to extension of election at that polling unit.
One card readers that are on standby. So we hope that if a card reader fails in the field, we will be in a position to replace it as quickly as we can. If we cannot replace it, the INEC and political parties generally in Nigeria, it is not only in Plateau State here, if we cannot replace it during the time of the accreditation, election for that polling unit will have to be suspended for the next year.
Kwanga, who spoke during a voter sensitization program at his hotel in Jos, stressed that there are sufficient card readers for the state and that additional 600 have also been kept on standby, which shall be made available on demand.
We have 2,076 polling units in Plateau State. And these polling units have been broken down into 4,041 voting points. And we have card readers for each and every of these voting points. And we also have redundancies. These redundancies will be placed on demand. If a card reader fails.
He appealed to those with temporary voter cards to stay away from the polling units because only people with the permanent voter cards will be allowed to vote.
In Kano State, officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission have taken delivery of all electoral materials. Resident Electoral Commissioner Mukaila Abdullahi told journalists that ballot papers have already been distributed to all 44 local government areas of the state.
If it will take us tonight, must conclude the distribution of all sensitive materials to all the local government headquarters. Then we have given instruction that at the local government level, all distribution and sorting must be completed by tomorrow, latest by 5 p.m. tomorrow. So, and we have also instructed all the election personnel to be at their places of assignment, that is the registration area centers, where they are supposed to sleep there. They must be there before 5 p.m. tomorrow, Friday. So our anticipation and our plan is to make sure that from the RAC centers, every polling unit within that catchment area, materials and personnel must reach to that polling unit by 7 o'clock on Saturday morning. On that plan, I've worked out details of our transportation requirements, and the Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers is also open doing giving us all the necessary cooperation. I think there's no cause for alarm as far as timely delivery of materials and election personnel are concerned.
There's been a fire outbreak at the FCT High Court complex in Maitama, Abuja. The fire gutted one of the administrative office of the court on Wednesday evening before it was contained. Court Registrar Rahamatu Shehu told journalists that the fire incident was caused by electrical fault. He was also glad that the timely response by firefighters prevented a major disaster.
I heard of information was saying it is our tradition that normally an officer stays behind to switch up all appliances before we close for the day. And I'm sure the same happened here. So honestly, it's difficult to tell where the fire must have come from. It's only the probate unit so far, and thank God it's been curtailed, just the probate unit and not beyond.
The level of damage is, though enormous, but we have confined it to a room, to a floor. Because if we had allowed it to go, it would have escalated seriously. It was a serious one. So definitely we have been on top of that very situation.
Armed robbers struck in our town in Ondo State on Thursday, robbing some banks and killing a bank manager. CoreTv News gathered that the robbers, numbering about 10, killed the manager of a branch of a New Generation bank in the town and another employee of the bank during the robbery. It was learned that the deceased, whose identities are yet to be known, were shot by the robbers for allegedly refusing to cooperate with them. Residents said the robbers got into the center of the town through the Abuja-Owo area at about 5 p.m., robbed 3 branches of New Generation banks and carted away an undisclosed amount of money after 2 hours of the operation. Meanwhile, the State Police Command spokesman, Wole Ogodo, said the details of the incident were still sketchy, adding that police had mobilized its men to arrest the situation. And now outside Nigeria, German authorities say Alps crash co-pilot Andreas Lubitz hid the details of an existing illness from his employers. Turn-up sick notes were found in his homes, including one covering the day of the crash, but the nature of his illness was not revealed. Prosecutors said there was no evidence of a political or religious motive to his actions and no suicide note was found. Data from the plane's voice recorder suggests Lubitz purposely started an 8-minute descent into mountains as the pilot was locked out of the cockpit. In their statement, prosecutors said they seized medical documents from Lubitz's 2 residences, his flat and his parents' home, which indicated an existing illness and appropriate medical treatment. But the fact that among the documents found leads to the provisional assessment that the deceased was hiding his illness from his employer. Earlier, it was reported that Lubitz's notes say he suffered a serious depressive episode when he finished training in 2009 and went on to receive treatment for a year and a half. Lubitz and 149 passengers and crew died when Germanwings flight 4U9525 crashed in the French Alps. And that's it on the news for this hour. Join us again top of the hour for more. Thank you for watching. I am Ebulomo Adekunle.